Okay, great. So I'm delighted
Yes.
to be with you this afternoon to share with you um, my experience, I suppose, in academia in relation to publishing. The title of my presentation is The Winding Road to Academic Publication. I've taken the liberty of just having a winding road as the example just to show you. And I suppose the red arrow points the summit of the hill, and the summit of the hill being, you know, what we actually hope to achieve. And I suppose the essence of the winding road is that there will be, along the journey to publication, different experiences, both positive and not so positive. And just to kind of allay people's fears, if you're just coming to academia and starting to be an academic who publishes your research, that there will be times where you will actually have great elation, you'll get reviewers' comments back that will be hugely positive, but there also will be times when reviewers may not be quite as accepting to your work. And just to say to you, you know, all academics experience that. I've had the highs and I've actually had the lows, you know, and opening that email when it comes to from the reviewers to tell you whether they've accepted your paper or not, or your article or not, is always a daunting time, because you don't know what's going to be inside that email. And it's really quite a subjective area. And the important thing to be about publishing is that you should actually take on board what it is the reviewers try to say to you, because it's coming from their perspective. And I suppose there's an element of them having some element of what we would refer to as power in the process. You know, their comments will be sometimes really, really positive, but sometimes they'll be encouraging you to reflect on the work that you've done. So the winding road to academic publication can be challenging at times, but also the rewards that you get from getting published are really, really important. It's really always nice to get that validation of your work from your peers. And I think that's the important element in relation to publication. In terms of where I'm coming from today, I'm actually living in Ireland, which is on the Atlantic Ocean, on the furthest part of Europe. And we have a population of about 4.9 million people. And I'm living just outside Dublin, but the university that I actually work for is actually in Dublin. And in the Dublin environments, we have about 1.5 million. And I've just done some measurement in terms of the distance we are between ourselves today, and I've measured it with New Delhi. So we're some 7,000 kilometers from each other today. And 4.5 hours of a time difference. So at the moment it's just gone 12:30 here. So I'm delighted to be able to share remotely, and I suppose that's one of the positives that COVID has provided for us, is the opportunity to actually share our information, our knowledge, our experiences virtually in an environment like this. But I do hope the day will come when we'll be able to meet each other face to face, because I think that's how humans actually interact best. But in the interim, it's actually good to be able to actually share knowledge through the technological advances that we have available to us today. So in terms of my agenda, I just want to give you a bit of background to publishing and where I've coming from in terms of my research. And then where a starting point would be. I wanted to use this lecture today and spoken with Dr. Jen a fair bit in terms of the background to this. I wanted to start and just give you an overview, particularly for those people who are starting off and wanting to get on the road to publication and academic publication. So it's very much from the starting point forward, but along the way you'll see some evidence and some information that you may be able to apply to yourself if you've already published at conferences and the like. I'll look at why it is we should publish, and at that point, I'll take some questions. And then I just want to spend some time, because I've done a lot of work around methodology in the more recent times, and I want to spend some time speaking about methodology and its importance and the approaches that one might take. And again, at that juncture, when that's done, we can take more questions, and then we'll bring the session to a close. So all in all, you know, an hour and 3/4 or so of our time together will be covering those particular areas. So for me, my backgrounds. So, you know, I'm 20 years in DIT, formerly DIT when I joined, but now we're the Technological University Dublin. And when I started, I went into the university with my undergraduate degree, having achieved that prior to going in, and having taught in second level education for a number of years and worked in the construction industry. So I went in with no publications whatsoever other than my undergraduate thesis. So it was very much a learning curve for me. And why I say 20 years ago, because, you know, the important thing, if one wants to publish, it actually takes a period of time to be able to navigate and get the competences and the skills that you require to actually be able to publish at the highest level. So it doesn't particularly happen overnight. Where I am today, I'm really pleased that I've accomplished what I have. I share my research. I sit on academic editorial boards, as was mentioned by Serge Gerveta. I actually am a member of the editorial board of the International Journal of Construction Education and Research. So I'm one of those reviewers who gives feedback to people who submit papers to our journal. I'm also a member of other editorial boards where I just review papers. But my role currently as an associate editor is that we actually screen papers coming through. And the rejection rate in our journal is something of the order of 80%. So only 20% of the papers that come to us get through. And you can imagine that in terms of so there's a fair amount of academics in the built environment that actually don't get their papers published with us. So that's an important element to think about, you know, that if you do get a rejection, it's about taking the feedback from that rejection and trying to move yourself forward. So it's not an overnight thing. The areas that I publish in now are built environment education and construction management, and looking at the whole area of sustainability and actually how we can. I've had students researching the whole area of expertise around sustainability for the construction sector and how that's applied to construction. So what I do is I work with research students, and they're out in the field doing qualitative and both quantitative research, getting an understanding of what's happening in the industry, and then we pull that together and put it in a format when we have something that we believe is worthy for the actual reviewers, or for the people in the industry to, or the academic circles to actually hear what it is we have to say when we come up with something actually worthwhile. So when we have a good message to share, that's the time that we actually publish and submit our papers for publication.